And it's reconnected. Hello. We did change some settings. We'll see if that makes things better or worse. Anyways, if you've been tuned in, you're tracking the reading. So yeah, the one person who's blindfolded and the 4 people who aren't blindfolded kind of relate to these 4 of swords needing rest, and then this page of swords maybe feeling, you know, we're going to get the 3rd or 4th card. So we want to, what are we looking at? What are we looking for in the 3rd or 4th card? Maybe there's a wasp or a wolf symbol. Maybe there is, are we going to stick more to the swords or the wands suit? The theme of the blindfold, and maybe the page. If we see a page of a different suit. I think that it's triggering ads too often. What do you guys think? I think it's messing up. I need to turn them off automatic. Because it's messing up. Yeah, that's fine. No ads scheduled. I'll manage it. Thank you. It's messing up. Yeah. No, that's exactly what's happening, Suvi. And it's, no, I think you're right. But, it doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter if I know why. It's messing up. So it needs to not be happening. I can't go to, hey, Twitch, so you guys should fix the code. Here's how you fix the code. And oh, great. We'll implement that right away. You know, like, no, I just have to turn it off and fucking deal with it. So, you know. Oh, very interesting. Here we have a 6 of Wands as the next card. So we've gone 4, 5, 6. And there's a very, like, triumphant, so this is like, we're coming out the other side of this chaos. 5 of Wands is chaos. It's kind of the, meant to show the essence of, like, wands as fire and, you know, fire harnessing chaos. Well, in a sense, like that the pinnacle of the fire element is, you know, harnessing that, but the middle point of it, sort of the natural existence of it, is this chaos, and that's like the force of the suit of wands. So we're sticking in the suit of wands, like I mentioned. Are we going to have more swords? Or are we going to have more wands? We have more wands. So I didn't read for the 5 of wands. Let's read 5 of wands and then 6 of wands. Jealousy, competition, a victory after struggles, disagreements and conflicts among friends, a desire to gain equal footing with one's peers, petty arguments, everyday strife and struggle, playful jest, hierarchies in office politics. I can see that. Striving for success merely to show others up. Isn't that like 50 Cent was like, haters are the best motivator, like let them watch you succeed. This was a quote that was recent. What did Suvi say? Twitch needs to fix shit, but if they don't listen to a vast majority of its words hating the platform, I don't know what would work. Whatever. You know, like they'll fucking, I don't know. I'm EP as hell, so might crash at a random, but sending hugs virtually. Oh, thank you. We can send a hug virtually. Watch this. There we go. So you get different hugs. depending on what you roll. You get different RNG. So I think there's 4 or 5 different options. Anyways, 5 of Wands, very much chaos. So we're seeing 4 of Wands is like, oh, I need rest. 5 of Wands is, so it's almost like there was a flip. So because rest and stillness are themes in the 4 of Wands. Or sorry, 4 of Swords. And then moving into the 5 of Wands, that's chaos, that's movement. So it's like a paradigm flip. And then maybe this is a little bit Goldilocks. You know, we went too low. So low stimulation, depression, high stimulation, anxiety. And then this medium stimulation, happy medium. 6 of Wands, a victory is won, an honor is bestowed. Promotion, rise in status. Respect, dignity, touting one's accomplishments. You made it through the fire. You know, that's what that is. That's what, you know, and then do we want to see? Do we dare to peek at what's next? I'm going to dare to peek. I'll peek for you guys. Justice. So if you were worried about the world, I wouldn't be worried, but just stay vigilant. Stay strong in your own way. You know, deal with the challenges of your life. And try not to let people that are fucking up in the world, like, fuck your life up. Not because it's like, oh, because then they win. It's more like, because your life is kind of like about you learning and growing as your own self. And there's things we can't control. Ultimately, we're always doing our best. Because our best is all we can do. Like I always say when I'm signing off, you know, that you all should have a great day, week, month, year, season. Until the next time I see you. And make it the best you can that you are capable of doing. Need me some low stimulation? Sweetie. Okay. The justice in this case, I'm getting less really of a sense. It's not the retribution. It's not going to be another full swing. We've gone from here to here. But if we do another full swing, we'll just be back where we started. So justice, I think, is actually saying we go to the center. We go to the middle of those 2 extremes that we've been seeing with stillness and with chaos. And we find our center, we find our balance. And that is the transformation that the Page of Swords archetypally that we are ultimately working towards. Is that balance. I think that was a great reading. I think that's good. If anyone has like a comment or something, feel free to chime in. That was really fun. I haven't read in a while, or at least a couple weeks. I check in, you know. It looks like the bitrate has stabilized a little bit momentarily. We'll see. Anyways, we've got some videos to watch. And this is what the tarot scene looks like, and the vibe and everything. I wanted to show you guys. Let's see. Oh, that is just fully my mod view. That's hilarious. Yeah, not that. Sorry. that is just fully my mod view. We're getting them pulled up right now. Do we have Jackie Cam active? No, Jackie Cam is not active. That was really cool, tech issues aside. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, no, I love reading tarot. And I still will be and everything. You know? I just like to do a short little reading. Plus you saw like how in-depth like it kind of gets. The page is loading. It's taking forever, probably because it thinks it has the shittiest Wi-Fi chip on the planet. Even though this motherfucker has Wi-Fi 6. It's like, what's your problem? Or Wi-Fi 5, whatever, fuck me. Like, it shouldn't be an issue. It's on the right network. Nothing is being streamed. I'm the stream. It's me, it's my stream. Oh my god, YouTube just loaded in plain text. What the fuck is going on? This is ridiculous. I wish you guys could see that. Can you just load my damn page? It's just YouTube. It's like not even... Oh my god. Okay. So the video is tasting misery. And if I were smart, by the way, I would have just used my Bluetooth keyboard earlier. But apparently I'm stupid. Or I feel like being stupid. Alright. I've got it pulled up. Let's get the window capture. Oh my god, stop. It's like, why is it showing the same fucking window? It really needs to not capture automatically. On that. That is hilarious. I don't think you guys saw anything that's like doxing or whatever. Whatever, fuck the VOD watchers. They just lost VOD privileges. We'll segment it here, we'll clip it. Yeah, it hasn't been that long that I was like worried about reading, but it's nice to be reassured. It looks like I have a crop on it to take out the top. Yeah, oh, beautiful. So I can just leave it like this.
Welcome to Catch Up with Max and Jose, though it's just me today. Just me, Max Miller, no Jose for the moment, but that's okay because this is really all about my going through past episodes. We're going to be talking about 15 of the worst tasting or worst to make.
Guys, I can't watch YouTube videos at 1x speed. Do you hear how he's like enunciating every word and it's like 15 of the worst tasting or worst to make, and it's like I've got the closed captioning and I'm reading it as it goes along. Like, I don't need the snail's pace, you know, give me one and then the other. So we're gonna speed it up a little bit just so I don't go crazy. Any crazier than I already am in the ways that I am. I like 135 these days. I'm a real 1.35 head. 1.35 head.
Or worst in some way episodes that I have done of tasting history. There have been like over 350 long videos, so this is the 15 worst. This time on tasting misery.
All right. So yeah, this guy is Max Miller. He does historical recreations of recipes. So sometimes that's colonial era, sometimes it's Roman era. So you're dealing with anywhere from tens or decades, 20th century recipes, which is a little more B. Dylan Hollis, but we'll get to that. 20th century recipes, 19th century recipes, colonial era, 1700s, all the way back to, the BCs with garum, which is fermented fish. So we will see. I haven't seen this video, so this is new to me. I did not vet this. Did not vet it fully, rather. I like him. I like his stuff. Okay, I've seen his videos. I know it'll be, I don't care if it's appropriate, but, okay, I like that content, and I would talk about it. So let's go. Without further ado.
Before we get started, I want to make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. It's getting really close to getting to 100,000. Not that close, but somewhat close. But the goal is to get it to 100,000. So yeah, help us hit that milestone. Anyway,
speaking of milestones, by the way, I hit 100 a good minute ago, and I still haven't done that stream. But we are planning. There is still yet to come, like a full cam stream with Blackjack, and it'll probably end up being 2 cams. How I'm gonna do it exactly, how I'm gonna pull it off, I have a couple ideas, but I'm not exactly sure, so it's still in the works. But don't worry, I am thinking about it. We recently hit 119 followers though, so that's really exciting, because that means we're really close to 125. And every 25 is just a nice number to count. So anyways, thank you all for following and sticking around, since he was mentioning it.
Made a lot of food on this channel. Like I said, over 350 long videos, plus another 100 and some odd shorts, and they can't all be winners. Sometimes it's because the recipe itself was poorly written. Sometimes I think it's just the recipe is not good. Sometimes it's my flavor profile or palette. I'm really into textures and weird textures. I don't like it. Don't like the dish.
I don't like
it's because I screwed up the dish. And sometimes the food itself tastes fine, but it was not pleasant to make. So all of those could be part of this list.
I have one that I think, so if anyone wants to put in chat what you think is going to be on the list here, if you're a Max Miller watcher, I think there's going to be one, it's like ninja balls or something. It's like this big. This is about 2.5. It's like this ginseng oat like paste ball that's then dried, and it's supposed to give you enough nourishment for like a day or something. Here's what was going on. They was getting caffeinated, you know?
So I have picked the 15 worst that I think, and we are starting with number 15, Melas Zomos, Spartan blood broth. So this video came out in October 2020, not long after the channel started, and
Spartan blood broth? Sorry, he just said Spartan.
This video came out with number 15, Melas Zomos, Spartan blood broth.
Okay.
So this video came out in October 2020, not long after the channel started, and really, the flavor of the dish is not the worst. It's a little too vinegary for me, but it's basically a pork stew. It is more the look of it that is so disturbing. It is black because it's made with blood, pork blood, and it just...
Yeah, blood sausage too, right? It's like blood and oats, and it freaks me out.
Is off-putting. There are a lot of blood dishes out there, like dinuguan and whatnot, but
so don't look right now. He's like he'll like cut into it sometimes, like into the footage. So just beware.
Black or like dark-colored foods, I guess. I don't know. Just looking at it is less than appetizing, but the flavor it wasn't so bad. That's why it's number 15. Number 14, hardtack hash from steerage upon a Victorian ocean liner. Now this one is actually really recent. It was just a few weeks ago, and it was not good, mainly because it was absolutely bland, and it just kind of turned into a mush in my mouth. It was so much hardtack with so little anything else. And so it was a lot of work to make because I had to make the hard...
he's just going through these like real fast. I was hoping he might... I mean, yeah, it's 1.35, but... Okay, so the first one is just he didn't like it because it had pork blood. So that was a tough eat. And this one was a lot of work to make hardtack, and then it turned back into mush. Yeah, hardtack is like a preserved bread cracker product that they used on ships, for those of you who aren't familiar. That is what it is. It's like a way to transport grain, you know, so it doesn't go bad. It's incredibly dry and looks like a cracker, but is like drier than a Popeye's biscuit that's been sitting out for a week. It will suck the moisture out of you. So it's not very pleasant. And then, yeah, it does just turn to mush.
And then it just kind of turned into a mush in my mouth. It was so much hardtack with so little anything else. And so it was a lot of work to make because I had to make it hardtack. And then it just kind of turned to mush.
Yep.
I actually had trouble swallowing it. Not because it tasted bad, but because it was physically difficult to swallow that food.
You got to tough it out, soldier. No, I'm kidding. No. Yeah. Especially if it's like forming a lump in your throat as you try to swallow. It's like kind of tough. English food, bland. I know, right? A sailing food, bland? That's crazy.
Definitely deserves a place on this list.
Definitely.
Number 13,
okay.
Heart and Mead. It was the
Heart
Viking
and
heart, the
mead?
dragon heart. Obviously, it was not a dragon heart. But this...
Disappointing. Obviously, it wasn't a dragon heart. Okay, well, you said dragon heart. Okay, so is that my fault or is that your fault? Because you said dragon heart.
Dish was all about texture. So I made it based on a passage from an old text where it talks about taking the heart, the dragon heart, spit roasting it with honey. So I just roasted this with honey, and that is not the way to cook heart. Heart can be very flavorful and can have a fine texture. This was not the way to do it. You wouldn't want to boil it. You wouldn't want to roast it like this. It really needs to be like sliced or slow braised. There are other ways to do it. It's just super tough. Also, when you get in...
Oh, man. Let's see, like, why is my Wi-Fi struggling this much? I lost my place. Okay, here we are. It's just super tough. Okay. Sometimes what works is I go like a little bit ahead and then I go back. And it works. Or I can like refresh the page. Oh, and we don't have to watch this at 720p. That's the real problem. I never watch YouTube at 720p. We're watching this in 480. Get used to it, kids.
When you get into it, there are like all of the arteries and just these different cavities that...
Yeah, that sounds insanely
it's like rubbery and sinewy and just really unpleasant, and I won't be making that again. Heart is not for me. I don't have the stomach for heart, it turns out. However, it's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah,
I love the history that I talk about, the Viking kind of mythology and dragons, and I retasted the mead. So I had made mead some months before. In this video, I retasted that mead after it had aged. And to this day, I get comments all the time, are you ever going to taste the mead? And I'm like, man, I tasted it years ago. It was like 4 years ago. So I've like posted in all sorts of places, this is where I taste it. And people still miss it. That's okay. Number 12 was the spiced kangaroo from...
Maybe because you didn't label it also I taste the mead, or like also mead tasting. Plus, what, you want me to read a whole title? You want me to read a whole title? You better pay me. 5 words and I'm skimming, or else. Tasting history. Yes, Gav, welcome in. We're doing so tasting misery. He's trying some stuff he's sampled before. And going through like the greatest shits of the whole show. So kangaroo meat, it looks like, is up next. Welcome in, by the way, Gav. We have a new redeem. So Suvi, Gav, if you guys are still here, make sure you hit the redeem to grind your PB, because that's our daily here, because we're speedrunners. So make sure to grind your PB. You will save a random amount of frames. So who's going to be really fast today? Baked saved like 200 something frames today, and that was before stream refreshed a couple times. So I have I think 2. Yeah, I got to do my PB again today, and my first one was 247 frames. That's like 4 seconds. Anyways, welcome in, Gavin. Make sure to do your grinding your PB, because I spent a lot of time making it work. I want it to work. I want it to work for you guys.
Australian home front during World War II. Now, this one is I'm not sure what the problem was, because so what I tasted, first of all, not the best way to prepare kangaroo. It was kind of a slow braise, and it just that's not what this kind of meat needs. It needs like a quick sear and you're done. This was like a slow braise, and the spices just didn't really complement the flavor.
So it got tough?
And it ended up kind of tasting like dirt, gamey dirt. But the thing is, some people from Australia have said, yeah, that's what it tastes like. Earthy would be the polite term to use, but I would actually say dirt.
Yep.
It kind of tastes like it.
That's what it tastes like.
And then others say, I think you got a bad piece of meat. And it may have been a bad piece of meat. It had been in the freezer for a while. So it could have been a bad piece of meat. Off. And I'm honestly not sure. And I would have to get another piece to test it, but I'm not sure that I want to put myself through that. And it's really expensive. That little piece.
It sounds like he hasn't really thought this through, but he's basically settling on it's too expensive. You know, when someone gives you like 4 or 5 reasons, but none of them are like solid, and they don't just say like, so it's all of those things together.
But I would actually say dirt. It kind of tastes like it fell in the dirt. And then others say, I think you got a bad piece of meat. And it may have been a bad piece of meat. It had been in the freezer for a while. So it could have just been kind of off. And I'm honestly not sure.
And I would have to get another
piece to test it, but I'm not sure that I want to put myself through that. And it's really expensive. That little piece of meat was like $110. So maybe I'll wait until I go to Australia and give it another shot. And until then,
6 reasons.
It stays on the list. But I don't like it. Number 11.
But I don't like it.
This was also one of my very early videos. It came out in 2020. I think it was August of 2020. And I just went back and watched it. And the style of the show has changed so much. I was much more like, I don't know. It's just different. Totally different.
Wait, what? Shows change styles over time? No way. That's crazy.
But this is one of those dishes where it's kind of like the recipe is not a recipe. So I don't know if I did it right. I don't know if I did it wrong. Nobody does. It's a magic potion from ancient Greece. So
the gods know if you did it right. Jeez. Some plutocrats, am I right? So these damn plutocrats, you know.
It's kind of like we know some of the ingredients.
They think they're getting us. They think they can pull the wool over our eyes.
Brandy and wine, which is really strong wine, cheese.
I know you know.
And some barley. And so the way that I made it was kind of like a thick porridge.
I could go for some thick porridge. Who got thick? We got thick porridge on deck, brother.
And it just the texture was very thick. It was really wine and cheese like together. It was like salty wine porridge. I really, really hated it. I just watched, and I you could tell I really didn't want to swallow this food.
This is kind of funny as someone who has like texture issues with food sometimes. Like I have mild intake issues. If we're being like hella real. And watch like seeing his face, I'm like, I've been there. Where you're just like, this, your brain goes like, this is not food. This is not food.
So this one and the Melazomos, though, both made it into the Tasting History cookbook. This one, though, I kind of tested out a little bit more afterward to make a more pleasant version of the dish. And I do that a lot, you know, if something is going to go into a cookbook or whatever, because usually for the show, I don't test it at all. What the first time I'm making it is what you see, and that's what I taste. That's kind of the point of the show. And so...
kind of the point of the show. That's kind of the point of the show. He's way funnier at 1.35. I gotta say. Anyways.
But for the cookbook, I'm like, other people are gonna make this, so I'm gonna put some work into like refining it and trying to make it a little more appetizing. So yeah, regardless, still not my favorite. That's weird. That's not good. That's not good at all. Number 10, haggis. Now, I wasn't going to put haggis on this list because...
Haggis.
It's haggis. And so, like, it just already has this stigma because it's like innards boiled in a stomach of a sheep and everything.
Yeah, it's organ meat. It's organ meat in organ meat. You got to keep in mind, he's talking to stupid Americans. He's got to explain some shit like the audience is 7. What did I say? Oh my God. Did I think something is super obvious? My bad. No, I like when he explains things. I really appreciate it.
But the real unpleasant to eat and...
Oops. God, the buttons. That is definitely a haggis.
It's expensive in a stomach of a sheep and everything.
La 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 la.
But the reason that I'm putting it on the list is twofold. One, it is one of the most laborious and expensive things that I have ever made because I actually had to fly to Scotland to do it because it is illegal to make true haggis in the United States because it needs to have sheep's lung and you cannot legally purchase or cook with sheep's lung. So,
my God. Yep, you gotta have sheep's lung in there or it's not real haggis. Jeez, guys. Jeez. Oh man. Okay, we're gonna take an ad break after haggis, okay?
Had to go to Scotland, boohoo me. But it was very hard to find a butcher that would let me come in and make it my way.
And make it my way? Oh, I see. Because he's trying to like commission them to do butchery instead of it being like they just make their sausage the way they make it. Okay.
My way being I think a 14th or early 15th century recipe. And then that's the second part that was the issue with this. Haggis today is like highly spiced. This was not. It didn't have any spices. It just had some herbs in it, which add flavor. But overall, it was just like this kind of grainy meat and grain, because it's like oats in it, this filling that had no real flavor. So it was a real letdown after all the work that went into it, all the preparation. And I could tell that the butcher who made it, who did most of the work, he was like, okay, it makes me feel better about my own haggis because it was just not good. But it was also one of the more fun things to make because I went with my brother, trip to Scotland with my brother, and met Bruce Fumi over there. And yeah, it was a great trip.
Okay, or after I take this aside, we're gonna have an ad break for 1:30. So get ready to get up and get a drink of water or snack or something. Take care of yourselves for a moment. Use the restroom if you have to. What I was gonna mention here is sometimes that is like most of what you're getting out of an experience, out of like a business or like a side hustle thing, like if it pays for itself, like you went out and you experienced something, you lived life. Like he went to Scotland and he met this guy and it was a great trip, and so there's a part of him that says that was one of the most expensive meals I ever did. Really, it's one of the most expensive projects he's done, and the experience of it was ultimately very enjoyable, and it did allow him to do other things. And he got to write off a trip to Scotland too. Let's not forget, in America we get to write off our business expenses, which makes it a little bit easier to do this whole like paying for itself, like financial management sort of perspective on it. Girl math almost, if I'm being honest. It's a very like, that's boy math, is like, oh, I saved enough net to cover the whatever the fuck, that's boy math. Is just accounting justification for whatever the hell you want to do. But at the end, it's all justification. It's experiences, it's living life. It's, you go to Scotland and you do the thing, and you went there and you came back and you feel like, well, you're back where you started, but you're not, right? Because you had your hero's journey. You went over there and you did something. Go places, do stuff, grow, and return. Go places, do stuff, grow, and return. And you come back in that same environment with the skills and the experience that you gathered, the life that you lived while you were doing that thing. Anyways, I'll see you guys back in 1:30. We're going to pause on the video for a little bit. I'm going to take care of myself too. right, we are back. Hello, there we go. It's on my right hand. It's washing me out a little bit, it seems like. It's darker now. Oopsie, my rigging is like all janky. I don't even want to like spill the tea on that. It's embarrassing. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, let's get right back into it.
Number 9, hardtack. Hardtack and Hellfire Stew. Pretty much anything cooked with the hardtack. Actually, the Hellfire Stew wasn't that bad because it added in a lot of
straight to the hardtack
bacon grease, which is delicious. But the hardtack in general takes so long to make, has no flavor, will break your teeth if you don't eat it correctly, and even when you do eat it correctly, it needs to be like soaked and pounded up into a powder, and it's just completely, there's no flavor to it. So
there's no
it goes on the list
it.
because it's such a pain in the butt to make. And I kind of painted myself into a corner because with the clack clack, it became a meme. I started using it in videos and everything, so people were always wanting it, and I'm always wanting it. I think it's a fun dish, but it makes it so.
He's smiling. He's smiling, and he put this on number 9 of his worst dishes, and he's smiling. I mean, come on.
I have to eat it more often than probably any modern human being should eat it. But you know what? Again, that's just kind of part of the fun. Number 8 was Hildegard of Bingen's Cookies of Joy. Now this one pains me to even put on here because I love Hildegard of Bingen, Hildegard von Bingen. She is just an amazing woman, and I love that episode. And it's also not fair to these Cookies of Joy because they're not necessarily meant to be delicious. We call them cookies, but they're not really cookies. They're like a wafer for medicinal purposes. So of course, you know, if they have any good flavor, it's going to be better than anything else, or better than it deserves. The flavor actually was just fine. I kind of wish that they maybe had like sugar, something to sweeten them, because it is just a lot of spice, but it was the texture. At first they're really crisp, like a wafer, and it's like, oh, that's lovely. But then it kind of turns into a gumminess, kind of just like reverts to dough in your mouth before you can swallow it, because they're not crisp enough to just kind of dissolve like a wafer should. So they were nothing that I would make again. And that's why usually when you see them online, because there are lots of other places that'll do Hildegard von Bingen's cookies, they're not. They're basically modern cookies with some of the same ingredients, like some of the same spices, but then they just...
I love how he makes the faces. He's like...
They're not.
They're not. They're not the authentic... Thank you for speeding him up. Dude, he talks so slow, right? Hold on, there's something in my keyboard. There we go. I don't know what the fuck that was.
They're basically modern cookies with some of the same ingredients, like some of the same spices, but then they just make modern sugar cookies, and that's probably the best way to do it.
And that's probably the best way to do it. This guy needs, like, however much therapy he's going to, he needs, like, twice that or a yap session. I think he does a lot of work on his own, and then... You know, he goes down to like record a video. I mean, this is like a yapping video. I mean, hi, I'm yapping. Hello, Max Miller. I'm yapping about your video that you're yapping in, where you yap about the times that you talk to, you know, we're content farming. Hella. But, you know what I mean? Like a couple of these times I've caught him going like real stream of consciousness with the, but then they just mean and I'm like, I feel you, and that's probably the best way to do it.
The actual recipe, like I said, it's a medicine, but yeah, so you can't really blame blame him for not being
I'm gonna blame
so
him
great,
anyway.
But I love that episode.
Oh my gosh, the like in the super sincere face right here.
So you can't really blame blame him for not being so great, but I love that episode.
He loves that. I love that episode. He loves that episode.
Do I wish that there was some sugar in there?
And I love that for you. Number 7 is garum. I knew it was gonna make the list. I told you. I think I called it at the beginning. I was like, it's gonna be hardtack and it's gonna be garum, at least.
Now I've made this twice.
Wait, we're at number 7 and we have 20 minutes left and there were only 15, right? I'm tracking.
The first one, that was basically just unbelievably briny, salty fish water. So the second time, which took 3 months of preparation,
because it was fermented,
and that
is what I think it is, if I seem to recall correctly.
That's part of the reason that it is on this list, is just the amount of time that it took to make, the grossness factor of it. I mean,
yeah, fish stench, right?
it was sitting in our backyard in a jar, literally fish guts slowly digesting themselves, and it looked...
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, oh God, I must have looked really bad. How do you, the only smell, oh God, was sewage that bad? Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, you're eating the garum just to like get through oh God, that's awful. That's
absolutely god awful. It actually didn't smell as bad as I would think until I started straining it, and then it was like poof.
And then it was like
part of the issue with garum is there were so many unknowns. I was unsure if it would work out. I was unsure if the final product would be what it is supposed to be, and that would be a lot of work to go through if it wasn't.
True.
But also, I was a little worried about poisoning myself, because it's literally just like rotting fish guts. It's not rotting, technically, but essentially rotting fish guts out in the Los Angeles heat. And so I was a little worried, tasting it that first time, that I was going to give myself like botulism. But I had done lots of research to know how much salt needed to be added, so I didn't poison myself. And Sally Granger, who is an amazing food historian, specializes in ancient Roman food and particularly in garum, and she gave me a lot of information to be like, do this, make sure to do this so you don't die. Yeah, but it's a classic. Garum, the first garum video is what blew up the channel. So, and then the second garum video did, unbelievably well. So maybe people just like to watch me suffer, I don't know, but I think it's also just a fascinating dish. It's still around today in other ways, but nobody just eats it. It's not like a thing that you just eat. Some people actually did, but it's for cooking. And when it's cooked, it's fine. But like just the eating, it smells, it's really strong, and not my favorite thing in the world. Okay, enough stalling. Here we go. Garum.
He looks so, oh my God, look at this baby. Look at this child. Look at this overgrown child. Oh my God.
I feel like that episode of Friends where Ross is going to drink the fat. It's just a vanilla milkshake with...
What did I do, Gav? What did I do?
Okay, enough stalling. Thing that you just eat. Some people actually did, but it's for cooking. And when it's cooked, it's fine. But like just the eating, it smells, it's really strong, and not my favorite thing in the world. Okay, enough stalling. Here we go. Garum. Oh, I feel like that episode of Friends where Ross is going to drink the fat. It's just a vanilla milkshake with pieces of fish in it. Number 6 was the tomato and peanut soup.
His voice, like, it's the miking for sure, right? Like, but his voice is so like, it sounds so much higher. There's so much less quality to it. It's mostly the microphone, I'll be honest, but it's funny.
From the Great Depression school
and he
lunch.
Looks so much younger.
This one, to me, this is my Tyra Banks moment.
My Tyra Banks moment?
When I ate it, I was like, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
I love that to him, he's like, that's like what Tyra Banks is. Like my Tyra Banks moment. My Tyra Banks moment. Guys, I had my Tyra Banks moment the other day because I let somebody down. Right? Like is that what this is getting at? Am I understanding that correct? We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Oh, okay. So it's a wish unfulfilled. So more expectation, reality. Okay. I'm tracking.
I wanted it to be good because I love tomato soup. I love peanut butter, and it was not good at...
Max, are you... Okay, deep breaths. How do you cook like so many things and not get how it's like tomato and peanut butter is not going to taste good? Why would tomato and peanut butter ever taste good? Ever. Why, like, what in your mind is going like tomatoes and peanut butter is gonna taste good? Now, tomato, bacon, and peanut butter, that would taste good. But I think tomato, bacon, themselves go together, and the bacon and peanut butter themselves go together, and the bacon is letting the tomato work with the peanut butter. It's like a catalyst, you know?
At all. Those two things did not go together.
Food combos. I'm huge on them. Peanut butter and tomato is not going to work.
Oh, those poor children. I guess there are.
Oh my god, the face. His faces every time. Icky. That's it. Icky. I don't like this. Inside of the eyebrows and everything. I don't know.
Oh, those poor children. I guess there are soups where they do go together, but this was not the one. The two flavors just did not meld.
No, definitely not.
The two textures did not meld. It was like...
No shit. No fucking shit.
Like smooth and chunky and...
Tomato guts and chunky peanut butter? Like, are you insane? Why would you ever think those two go together? Well, I was really hopeful because I like tomatoes and I like peanut butter. Oh, man. Like, the only reason you're let into a kitchen is because there's like a historical context to it, or I'd be like, you can't cook. That's it. We're revoking, like, we're taking the knobs off your kitchen range, you know? Oh, let me tilt the cam. It's a little high, huh? That's better. I'm more centered. Oh my god. And the rigging, just going like, fuck you. That was like a double whammy too, because the mic stand went loose. It takes all of 5 seconds to fix. It's just like hand-me-down shit, you know? Oh my god, and we're dropping frames again. Okay, we went down to 0 and back up. Does my laptop really do this, like this regularly? This is insane. It's stabilizing a lot quicker. I'm not dropping any frames right now. And then we're back. Maybe I just saw it drop. Weird. Weird.
It was kind of weird. And yeah, it just didn't, you couldn't taste the tomato.
Yeah.
You couldn't taste the peanut butter, but you couldn't taste any new flavor either. It was just like, it was kind of weird. It's just, oh, I was so sad about that.
Tomato, oh my god. It's like, okay, but did you stop and think about it? Or what about that was like I want you to break that down. I want you to address that thought, because like there's something in there that I immediately am like, no, and absolutely not, and no way, you know? Tomato and peanut butter?
But in that same episode, I made these little cookies called hermits, and those were delicious. So, salvation.
Is that why it's number 6? Instead of worse?
Number 5, Spam loaf. Now, I'm not a big fan of Spam in general because I don't like really salty foods, and Spam is incredibly salty. So I didn't have high hopes going into it. But
there's low sodium versions, but oh my god, a cheese ribbon loaf. Tender, pure pork Spam joins with a zesty cream cheese mixture for memorable eating. Actually, it could work. It could work, because cream cheese can take up a lot of salt, and you'll be like, okay. And are those like a bunch of deviled eggs and Spam and cream cheese? Jesus.
But I've had Spam in times when it has been okay, like when it is cooked. This is very specifically not cooked, and many of the old recipes are not cooked because technically Spam is already cooked in the can.
Yeah, so why cook it again? Why fry it? It's already cooked. I mean, I should just be eating Vienna sausages, you know? Like, out the can. You know? That's like abominable, I fear. It's so much better when you brown it. Spam is so much better when you brown it. And so many other things, too. Anyway, we'll try and move on. We'll try.
It is, in this case, first of all, oh my gosh, what a pain to make, because it's slippery, and then it had this like middle filling in between each layer, and I don't know, there were like 7 or 8 layers in between each layer. It was...
What is that? What? okay, it was a picture, and pictures never come out like reality. I think what happened is he didn't let the cream cheese mix firm up enough, maybe. Or modern cream cheese is different. I don't know.
Slippery because, I mean, it was like a cream cheese filling, and so it just kind of kept falling apart. It was a nightmare to make. I think I ended up making it several times. But then you eat it, and it's even worse. The Spam is cold.
See, this is modern Max, right? This is a lot more recent video, I bet. He's got the set like figured out and stuff. He's got his book.
And
there you go.
Slimy and salty and horrible. And then they added more salt to the filling. I don't know what they were thinking.
Salt in the cream cheese? Yeah. Well, you got to add a little bit, I feel like. But yeah, too much, huh? Too much.
The 1950s were a wild time. And yeah.
They were. And there was a lot of
really
crazy recipes.
To be on this list, maybe even higher up.
We'll watch a little bit of B. Dylan Hollis after this, and then I'll probably wrap stream because we've been yapping a good bit.
That ain't it, kid. That ain't it.
But then we come to number 4, the
video,
1950s, again 1950s, fish pudding. And that is the first thing I believe that I made in this kitchen, not the one with the blue, but in this kitchen in this house when we first moved here. And it almost broke me. It was
fish pudding.
I mean, it was fish, like baked in a casserole with eggs, and it was so unpleasant. The fish flavor was so strong, and it made the whole house smell of it, but it wasn't like a good fish flavor. It was rank. And then the texture of this pudding, and by pudding, it's really kind of like more like a casserole, but it was like kind of jiggly and yet would disintegrate at the same time. And it was just super unpleasant. And again, 1950s, wild time when it comes to food, and I'm glad that we're not there anymore.
I don't like that at all.
Oh,
that does not spark joy.
Icky.
Number 3, the jellyfish frittata, or patina from ancient Rome from the black.
Jellyfish frittata? Ooh. I hear that and I'm like immediately compelled. And I know that we're past garum. And wait. So garum was easier. It was less bad. Garum was less bad than Spam with cream cheese. This guy definitely has like a texture thing. Because fermented, he's saying garum is less of like a detriment to his life than the cream cheese and Spam. When it took 3 months for the second iteration of garum in his backyard. Like, did that have enough redeeming qualities to it, or was the texture on this one just so disgusting and him finding it, like, so awful? Now, number 3 is the jellyfish frittata. I'm worried, you guys. We have 13 minutes left. What else is he going to talk about?
Black Banquet of Domitian. We're kind of sticking with the theme here of eggs and seafood, but instead of fish, we've just leveled up to jellyfish. And I used, I think it was cuttlefish ink, maybe
and
squid
you
ink,
soak it with garum
to dye it black, and we've already talked about.
Oh. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in.
Melosomos.
Make sure you grind your PB. We've got a channel point redeemed to grind your PB. That's our daily here. So you will grind a little session. It'll tell you how many frames you saved and how many frames you've saved in total across however many sessions. Welcome in, Dazzle.
Was like a inky black eggs. I don't like eggs. Like the texture of like cooked eggs. Not my favorite. I'm also allergic to egg whites, so sometimes that's dangerous if they're uncooked. Here, I don't think I had a problem with that, but the texture was the main issue.
I felt like I clocked the texture being the main issue. You know what I mean? Because like he could deal with garum, but he can't deal with this. Oh, okay, sulfur and fish smell would be a little bit much, but if you could deal with the straight garum, he drank garum. You're supposed to like soak things in it. He just drank it. Like, that's crazy. That is insane.
And we've already talked about how I don't like black foods, Melosomos. And this was like a inky black Eggs, I don't like eggs. Like the texture of like cooked eggs, not my favorite. I'm also allergic to egg whites, so sometimes that's dangerous if they're uncooked. Here, I don't think I had a problem with that, but the texture was the main issue, not the flavor. The flavor wasn't great, but because it also had like garum that just kind of, I don't think garum and eggs go well together. The Romans did. There are a lot of egg and garum recipes in Epicurus. Not my fave. But it was
not my fave. I really love the way he talks at 1.35. And yeah, we talk similarly. I'm talking quickly, he's talking quickly at 1.35, but it works, you know?
The texture of the egg and the texture of the jellyfish. I don't like jellyfish. So the thing with the jellyfish is they are, they're wibbly, and then you eat it and they're like, you got to chew on them and then they give, and then they just kind of like turn to water in your mouth.
What?
And so
I've never had jellyfish. So I have no idea.
It's kind of the same thing with boba, and I'm not a big fan of boba, where it's like, and then you bite into it and it's just...
No, that's not how tapioca pearls are at all. What?
I'm not a fan. Some people love it. Like, people eat it as a snack. I know several people who just kind of eat.
Oh. Wait. So he's saying like the kind of thing where you're chewing it and it's kind of chewy, and then eventually it goes to like nothing is kind of true, actually.
Eat on these jellyfish tentacles as a snack. I hear that the hood is much firmer and not as bad, but I couldn't get the hood. This was all tentacles. But the thing is,
get the hood.
They also don't taste like at all, really. I don't think. So I don't quite get the point of them, and I wouldn't have them again, I don't think.
So what's funny about this is like, aren't jellyfish like immortal or something? Or like they have such obscene lifespans and are capable of regeneration? Jellyfishes, that it's like, what if that's like tied into it somehow, that they don't really taste like much at all? They're just like barely there.
They're... See if they... It's just so... It's a texture that I don't care for, is what it is.
And that's ultimately what I'm seeing with this. He's like, texture is much worse for him.
I'll just put it like that.
Number 2, Kikatsugan.
Kikatsugan. This is what I was talking about. Number 2. The little balls, and they're going to have like ginseng and oats. Is he going to explain, like, is he going to show us like the whole ninja video right now?
These took me 3 years to make. So that's one reason why they are on this list. Just the length of time that it took to make, especially because I messed it up a couple times and had to kind of restart from scratch. And then this was another case of we don't know what really they're supposed to be because the original recipe is so vague. It doesn't give us any instructions except to mix these ingredients and leave it for 3 years. The sake that I used was kind of a mid-level sake instead of a really nice sake. Some people said that that's why the flavor wasn't good. I don't think that's why the flavor wasn't good. It wasn't.
Well, I know one way you can find out.
The sake's issue. I think you could have used the best sake. Still wouldn't have tasted good because most of it wasn't sake. Most of it was basically uncooked, like, flour of different sorts. Like,
okay, hear me out. Something chemically occurs at the molecular level. There's something that makes the sake taste not as favorably to the human palate, which actually does something at a chemical level similar to corn, and how corn can actually be digested, but only if you put it through certain procedures. Nixtamalization allows the whole kernel to be nutritionally available and digestible by the human body. Because like cows have multiple stomachs, so they can eat grass. Plant life is all cellulose. It's all these cell walls. We can't break that down. We don't have cellulase. It's so much to break it down. So that's what I think. I think the sake, the highest grade sake, would somehow, this is my spitball theory, is that it would like enable something to break down into, because cellulose is made of many glucose molecules, and so it could break into sugar, which would be nutritionally available.
Buckwheat flour and then other things, and then ginseng, which is super bitter. No good quality.
Maybe we are making too high grade of ginseng also, to where it wouldn't, or that would have been prepared a little differently, and the sake would have been a little different as well. I think you'd see the two biggest differences there, and then the coarseness of the grain, right? Because you'd be dealing with different milling.
Sake would save that, and then it doesn't tell you if or how to cook them. So
I have been thinking about this recipe like since I saw it. So if I'm putting more asides on this one, because this is one video I have seen, and it feels like he's kind of going to go into it. Maybe this one a whole lot, and the next one a whole lot. We'll see.
So it could just be raw. It could be steamed. It could be baked. It could be all sorts of different things. So I tried them in all the different ways, and none of them it didn't really make any difference. They all just tasted horrible. They were bitter and dry and like mealy.
Here we go. All right. Oh.
The ones that I steamed were kind of squishy, so that somewhat changed it. And it did make it slightly easier to eat, because the other ones just kind of like disintegrated into a powder. Horrible. Again, fun episode, but wow, those were not good.
Yeah.
So, it says to have 3 of these to stave off hunger. Maybe if you have 3 of these, you just don't want to eat anymore. That's not good.
That's part of it. Okay, and let's not underestimate, there's a little bit of a stimulation thing. Like people, so the other side of an eating disorder, eating too little, eating too much, either way, right? I feel like if anything, maybe you go, maybe 110s naturally as an animal towards more the eating more side. And then we either, due to circumstance or whatever, can go on the eating less side as well. Though that tends to be more psychologically motivated rather than environmentally motivated. Sorry, I noticed a light on my keyboard. I wanted to turn it off. So there is kind of a value in, kind of not being totally fully food is function, food is action, but a little more disincentivized from eating a lot or more than you maybe should, and if that's something that's kind of bland, and you've got the caffeine in there with the ginseng, and so you're not really feeling hungry, and you're remembering how that's the only thing you have to eat, and you're like, I'll eat one when I'm good and hungry, that he's saying it's not good. I'm saying it could work. There's maybe a place for it.
And number 1 on this list is leather. Leather. I ate leather. I mean, how could it not be number 1? It's leather. I made this episode, I believe it was in conjunction with PBS, and they were doing something about pirates, and they were like,
bro is working with PBS. Come on, big leagues. Hello. That's crazy.
Can you do a pirate episode? And I'm like, I've actually done several on pirates, but there is a story about these pirates who basically get stranded, and then they end up eating everything, and the last thing that they eat is their leather shoelaces.
They first took the leather and sliced it into pieces. Then did they beat it between 2 stones and rub it, often dipping it in the water of the river to render it supple and tender.
I could do that. And then I talked about...
Oh, what else did they do to it? Sorry.
It is the last thing that they eat is their leather shoelaces. I could do that.
Lastly, they stripped the hair and roasted or broiled it upon the fire.
And then I talked about
and thus being cooked, they cut it into small morsels and
all
ate
these other
it,
times
helping it down with frequent gulps of water.
In history when people have been reduced to eating leather. And so people have eaten this. It is a food source. It does have calories. It just doesn't have it doesn't have much of a taste.
Oh my goodness.
And you have to boil it for so long to even make it somewhat edible. And I say somewhat edible. You know when somebody way overcooks a steak or pork or something and they say, oh, it's like shoe leather? It's true. Because
it's true. I love how he points 3 times and then he says it.
Because leather is like shoe leather when it comes to the texture.
It's true.
It is so chewy. You cannot chew it. to the point of digestion. So I had to end up cutting it into the tiniest little pieces that basically I could chew a few times, taste, and then just swallow whole. And there was a lot of question as to whether the leather I was getting had formaldehyde in it or several other things that would have been very unpleasant to eat and ingest. So it took me a while to find something that I was confident in at least eating. And even then I was not entirely sure, but pretty confident. But yeah, it was the texture. It was kind of like the jellyfish, but so much worse because it never disintegrated. There was no actual water in it. It was just the leather. And so it was like, oh gosh, it was really unpleasant. But it was a really fun episode to make. And it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, will people even let me make this episode? Am I allowed to do this? And it turns out I'm allowed to make pretty much whatever episode I want because I'm the one who's making them. So I actually have 2 honorable mentions. And they're honorable mentions
oh, he does like 6. Okay, so what do we think? Like 3 honorable mentions?
Because they
5?
tasted good.
I'm going 5.
But the process was so... This is tasting misery. They were miserable to execute. The first being...
Guys, we made it under 40% dropped frames. I'm so proud. We only dropped 229,280 frames. Look at us. Look how far we've come. And it's only restarted the session 2 times. 2 times. What is going on? You know, why? It wasn't my Wi-Fi chip then. It just doesn't want to talk to this device, or like, what's the deal? Because it's plenty powerful enough, like it's going up. Okay, anyway, we were having connection trouble earlier. I'm sorry to rehash it. I don't, you know. It's coming in and out sometimes. So I do apologize. If you have a buffering patch, don't be afraid to refresh the stream page because we are having some connection issues tonight. Some bandwidth, it looks like. I don't know.
The cockatrice. One of my favorite episodes. It was for I think it was for the first anniversary of the channel. So that would have been in February of 2021. And it took me, like, I had to build myself up to making this because it's a MIDI.
It should have been, didn't he say it was October? Excuse me.
Recipe where they would create a new animal, a mythical beast, out of existing animals.
A mythical beast? Sorry, Mythical Beast Society. I've been watching, whatchamacallit? Rhett and Link.
Animals. And in this case, it was half pig and half capon, or castrated rooster. I believe I used the back half of the rooster and the front part of the pig, but then on the other end of the table would have been the other way around, but I only made one. So I had to get a capon and like cut it in half perfectly. And then I had to get a pig and cut it in half perfectly and stuff them and then sewed them together, some like
this
Frankenstein
is insane.
stuff. And
oh
then
my God.
roast it.
Don't look.
And it was just, and then you cover it in like saffron and egg to
Okay,
give
we're
it this
good now.
golden color on the
You can
outside,
look.
and it just looks, it really is unpleasant to look at. It does look beastly, and it is supposed to look beastly. It's a monster, and they would make all these different monsters that you would then eat.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So, and then some people were like disturbed that I had done it. So there was that. But then also the video didn't do well. I had put so much work into that video. I loved the history that I talked about. I talked about like just interesting foods like throughout history, and then it didn't do well. And even to this day, I think it just never really took off. So
it's very graphic, you know, your community. Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what's wrong. I know exactly why that video didn't take off. Here's your problem. Here's your problem. Here's what's going on.
And then the other.
Okay, what's the next one?
But it is what it is. It's one of those episodes.
It is what it is, and it ain't nothing else.
Where we're like, whenever we are going to push an episode, we're like, go watch Cockatrice. It's like that. And Soul Cakes is another one.
Soul Cakes? Okay. Heard. Hey, you guys want to watch Soul Cakes after this? What does he want? He wants us to watch... Oh, I am not watching that other one. I am not watching that. I've got a little... have I shown you guys? I'm going to show some stuff off. I'm going to do a little show and tell. Everyone tab in. I'm doing show and tell. Tab in. Tab in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are we tabbed in? Okay. I keep the papers from my tea bags. Like the wrappers that they come in. And I have been collecting them all in this box. A rather large box. We have a standard ballpoint pen here. It's about as wide as the pen and about as tall as the pen minus the cap length. And this is just filled with papers. Like, so if I ever need a little note, that's what I use. I use one of these. And I save the strings too. I've made a necklace out of these. I've woven them together before. I'm ready to make another one. Ready to make another 2, really. And by 2, I mean 4. Because last time when I made one, it could have been 2. And this one would make 2 of that one. And 2 times 2 is 4. Last time I checked. So, go figure. Excuse me. Anyways, just a little bit of show and tell. Because I'm going to make a note here for Soul's Cake. What do you guys think? I can't remember. I'm not going to remember. I can't be remembering things. Oh yeah, and then I use the boxes for it to organize it all. Oh, so these were the mythical struggle meals. Visas to try. I have like a filing system in it, which is why I mentioned it. So you take the little pouch. You tear the side gently down. It's not my best job here. Okay, we kind of messed up this edge. That's okay. And then when we fold it up like this, and we write the title here, and that's like, you can write it like this, and then it'll read, but I have them just in the box like this. I only have a couple. So I'll admit I could change the system. But actually, I don't need like a keeper note for this. I kind of just got distracted because I wanted to show you guys. Those notes are from last time. If we're going to watch this one right now, I just need a scrap. You'd be like, well, Jack, aren't all those scrap? Oh, you sweet summer child. I had some scrap around here. It's like, there we go. Incomplete rips. The ones where they really tear apart. Here we go. Soul Cakes. Hey girl. What's up, time? How you doing? Welcome in. Make sure to grind your PB. Get your that's your daily when you're here. I just added it not that long ago. So I'm trying to troubleshoot it also. Oh. How are you? Welcome in. How you doing, Tim? It's kind of early for you, no? Or no, it's not that early. Not over there. You saved 53 frames. Nice.
And then the other honorable mention is the one that I still have nightmares about, and that is sugar plums. One of my most successful videos. Delicious. I was so proud of the final product, but they were so hard to make.
I have been framed. No, what? What were you framed for, time? Oh, that's funny. You saved time. You just saved time. They did the thing.
Process was laborious. It took days because it takes days to, like, you have to let them sit and then do it again and let it sit and then add more sugar and let it sit and add more sugar and gum arabic on the outside. And it was so messy. because the sugar
gum Arabic
was melted with gum Arabic, and so it's like stickier than regular melted sugar. And then as it's spinning in the candy coater, it's
the hopper thing, I guess,
putting off sugar gum Arabic into the air. You can't even see it, and then it lands all over the kitchen, and it hardens into like this crusty film of sugar and gum Arabic that took literally, I think, a year later. I would like run my finger across and be like, oh, there's some still. It was just.
Oh my God. And do you see that backsplash on his counter? So all that tile black backsplash was catching, I bet. Oh God, that's so much.
Absolutely everywhere. The kitchen was an utter disaster. I thought that we would just maybe have to move rather than clean the kitchen.
It was an utter disaster. Cow joke.
I promised myself I would never make candy like that again. But then sometimes I'm like, do I want to make like M&Ms from scratch? There are so many of these old candies that require that kind of commitment. And I think they're so interesting. And they have such cool history. But man, someday I'll forget. I'll forget the pain of making sugar plums and I'll do something like that again. So that's the 50.
True. That's how it goes sometimes. Anyways, I have a little ad break to roll right now. I'm going to get the next video set up while the ads are rolling. And I'll be right here, so don't go anywhere. Some of you just came in. Tim, I don't think you're going to get an ad because Twitch has been really nice lately. But we'll see. Sorry if you do. For those of you who are still here through the ad break or for part of it, yeah, if anyone has a submission, feel free to drop it in the chat. Ideally, I'm just trying to get everyone used to using the command. It's not like a big deal, but what else are you saving your channel points for? Soul Cake. Soul Cakes. Yeah, there we go. Oh my God. It's baby Max. I tried refreshing stream because it kept freezing for me, so I couldn't hear you. No, yeah, it's kind of being shitty. For sure. It might just have dropped out as I said that. Yeah, it did. Yeah, Tim wasn't by earlier. It's really awful though. Yeah, they just changed their service too. So I don't think the internet didn't get affected. The speeds go up high enough. When it's stable, it's good. Try refreshing now. Refresh, it looks stable. Oh, and then it goes away. And then it goes red. So it's like I can get stable connection. I can get even 20,000 kilobits like communicating. It's insane. I'm really sorry. Anyways, everyone's back from ads. So look at this baby Max. Baby Max with the tubby little cheeks. Aww.
Who doesn't love trick-or-treating, am I right? I mean, candy, costumes, what's not to like? But did you know that before going around to strangers' houses and begging for candy became a thing, the treat of choice was actually cakes? And so that's what we are going to be making today. a 400-year-old recipe for soul cakes. Traditionally, these little...
And he's like, did you know it was actually cakes? You know, he's like really... This is one, he's not talking as slow in these, because he's like a little more, like coming from the TikTok still.
Cakes are served on All Souls Day, and they have a fascinating past going all the way back to the time of the Druids. So get ready for some Halloween history, this time on Tasting History. Today's recipe comes from Eleanor Fettiplace's receipt book. It was written in the late 16th and early 17th century, but it wasn't put out then as an actual cookbook. Rather, it was someone's personal recipes that they compiled, and they were passed down the Fettiplace family tree until they were finally published in the 1980s.
The 1980s? Oh my god, so like a fucking legacy of like kitchen knowledge just like published. I like to imagine like there were so many bad recipes cropping up from household product recipes. For example, they put the chocolate chip cookies thing on the side of the Nestle package. They put the pancake mix, you know, on the side of the Bisquick or whatever. Or cheeseburger pie, right? I like to imagine that like this releasing in 1980s was them like, all right, listen, we need to save the culinary arts and you know, decorporatize the culinary arts and make the world right again.
To make cakes, take flour and sugar and nutmeg.
I love
and
the font. Oh my god, I love the font. To make cakes, take flour and sugar, and nutmeg and cloves.
And mace, and sweet butter, and sack, and a little ale barm. Beat your spice, and put in your butter.
Beat your spice. Who up beaten the spice? And sack cold.
And your sack cold. Then work it well all together, and make it in little cakes, and so bake them. If you will, you may put in some saffron into them, or fruit.
Oh my god, do I have a recorder nearby? No, I don't. Or I'd toot on the flute some. Because he's got like recorder music in the background. He's got some chamber music.
So while Eleanor doesn't actually call them soul cakes in her book, these are the little buns.
Do I really not? Man, okay. I guess, yeah, the wind instruments are in the other room.
That would have been served around all sorts of holidays.
Toot toot. Yeah, I would toot on the flute a little bit.
But especially on All Souls Day. So what you'll need is 1/2 cup or 120 milliliters of lukewarm ale. Make sure to keep it under 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius, or you could kill the yeast.
True. Yeah, don't kill your yeast. Proofing yeast is really important. Any recipe that has you proofing the yeast, do it recipes say when it's baking, and then you can mess with it if you know what you're doing. Otherwise, ask someone who you know knows better. Because I swear, you know.
1 teaspoon.
I swear, man, it's so easy to mess up baking.
Of yeast, 3 cups or 360 grams of flour, 1/2 cup or 100 grams of sugar, 4 tablespoons of softened butter, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, only if you're using unsalted butter, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of clove, 1/4 teaspoon of mace, 1/3 cup sack or sherry, 1/4 teaspoon of saffron threads, optional, and 3/4 cup dried fruit, plus more for decoration. Now the fruit is optional as well, as is how you use it. You can actually put it into the dough, or you can use it as decoration, or you can do as I'm going to do, and use it as decoration and have it put into the dough. Just make sure that it's cut up small, so you can use whatever you want, cherries or currants or apricots or whatever, but make
whatever I want, as long as it's cherries or currants or apricots. I like, because the way he says, or whatever, or, you know, something, you know, not, you know, or whatever.
Make sure they're cut up small so they incorporate well. You can also have an optional egg for an egg wash. Now while Miss Fettiplace gives us permission to add either saffron or fruit, I've always been a fan of why choose or when and is on the table, so I'm going to be using saffron and fruit, and Miss Fettiplace will just have to be okay with that. So the first step is making something akin to ale barm, because what ale barm is the yeast that grows during the process of making ale, and it's going to be hard for most people to find that unless they're brewing ale at home, so we're going to make something that will work instead. So mix your yeast into the lukewarm ale and let it sit for about 10 minutes. Then in a separate bowl, put your saffron threads into the sack or the sherry and let those sit for 10 minutes as well. Of course, if you're not going to use saffron, then skip that part. While those sit, take a large bowl and whisk together the flour and the sugar, as well as the salt, the nutmeg, the clove, and the mace. Once the yeasted ale has sat for about 10 minutes, pour it into the flour mixture and work it in. Then add your softened butter and the sack with the saffron. Also, if you're using the dried fruit, add that in and mix everything together. Now this dough is really, really sticky, so once we start kneading it a bit, it will become easier to work with, but if it's still just way too sticky, go ahead and add a little bit more flour until it's workable.
Oh, this is way too sticky. Brother, this is... It's sticking to everything.
How much you need it is really up to you because she doesn't give us a lot of instruction in that. So if you want it to be more bread-like, then you're going to need it for probably about 15 minutes or so like you would a normal loaf of bread. And that's going to make it so it's a little bit springier, but it's also going to be more chewy, like bread. Then if you want it to be more like a cake, a little bit crumblier, then knead it for like 4 or 5 minutes at most. But just know that it's never going to have the same consistency as a cake that's been leavened with baking powder and baking soda. Yeasted cakes just are going to have a little bit more chew to them, and that's just how it goes. I'm going in the middle. I'm kneading it for about 7 or 8 minutes, so I can kind of see, is this bread? Is this cake? No need to decide. Yeah. But once you have kneaded the bread, then leave it to rise for about 45 minutes.
No need to decide.
No, that it's not.
Sweet breads are so nice versus like a cake that doesn't really gel. Cake is nice. It's very delicate. I'm becoming a real fan of some sweet breads. I'll be honest.
Not going to rise as much as most bread doughs, especially if you've incorporated any fruit. It will probably just get a little bit puffy, and that's okay. But once that 45 minutes is up or the dough gets a little bit puffy, go ahead and form it into about 10 to 12 little balls or cakes. Now, traditionally, these cakes would have a little cross put onto them, either by cutting or just kind of indenting a cross, or by actually putting some fruit on it, which is what I'm going to do. But if you don't want to put a cross on it, you could also just put maybe a wee little ghost on there, and then it would still be a soul cake. But really, you can put whatever you want. But regardless of the design that you choose, let them sit for another 20 minutes or so.
I want a ghost. I want a ghost. I want a ghost one. I want a ghost one. I don't want a cross one. Mom, can I have a ghost one?
While you preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. Once the cakes have had time to rest, you can go ahead and put that optional egg wash on, or else just set them in the oven and bake for 20 minutes.
Okay, and I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, egg wash, whatever. Egg wash makes it brown, and it doesn't add that much flavor, but it makes it brown and it crisps it up. It gives it a nice little edge. But you can do a similar thing with buttermilk, actually, because buttermilk has so much milk solid, or a higher fat, so like a half and half, or a heavy whipping cream even. Oh my god, heavy whipping cream on like a biscuit, and you'd brush it with heavy whipping cream. Oh my god.
Now, while the aroma of sweet saffron wafts through your house, make sure to hit that like button as we go back to the origins of soul cakes.
Oh my god, it highlights the like button when they mention it.
Optional egg wash on, or else just set them in the oven and bake for 20 minutes.
Did you guys see that?
Now, while the aroma of sweet saffron wafts through your house, make sure to hit that like button as we go back to the origins of
they're like, and this is the like button. But it circles the whole thing, so it's like, it's the like and the dislike button. I can't hit both.
Soul cakes. Soul, a soul, a soul cake. Please, good missus, a soul cake. An apple, a pear, a plum, a cherry. Any good thing to make us all merry. 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, 3 for him who made us all. From the
3 for him who made us all. Good grief. Okay, make a couple for the big G man or whatever,
Middle Ages until the early 20th century, variations on this song or other soul cake songs were sung by people going house to house on All Souls Eve or November 1st, making a plea for sweet treats, ale, and as the song implies, soul cakes.
Have you got any soul cakes? Have you got any soul cakes? Sweet treats, ale, and soul cakes. Have you got any soul cakes?
Today, of course, it's more often done on Halloween itself, and the song has been turned into a more pithy trick or treat, and usually
a more pithy trick or treat, and it usually doesn't involve ale or cake anymore.
Usually doesn't involve either ale or cake anymore. Probably best since it's mostly little kids. But anyway, how did this practice get started? Well, like so many of our holiday traditions, we have the pagans to thank. Specifically this time.
Woo! Go pagans! Go pagans! Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, more specifically, the Druids. That's right. The Druids.
The Druids. Before Christianity came to the British Isles, the Celtic people celebrated a festival called Samhain. It marked the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter. The festival was dedicated to the dying sun and the shortening days of winter.
Okay, we're getting a pagan lesson. Everyone, you just became my pagan babies. Welcome. Everyone in chat right now. We are all getting incidentally indoctrinated as pagans by tasting history of Max Miller.
But it was also thought that during the festival, the boundary between the land of the living and that of the dead was more
the land of the living and that of the dead was more easily crossed, allowing the dead to
visit their temporal loved ones. Even now
in Ireland, you can visit Neolithic passage tombs. I'm sorry, I can't I have no chill reading the closed captioning ahead. Yes, they're line the sunrise with the time of Samain. So if dearly departed
during the time of Samhain
is coming all the way over from the near world, he would only be polite to have a snack waiting for her when she got there. And one of the snacks that was most popular with the Celts was a little round cake. The whole thing, similar to Dia de Muertos. Dia de Muertos. No, I can't do it because it's like, I know how to say that. I can't say it totally wrong, and I can't say it totally accented. I haven't figured out how would you do that? How would you say Dia de Muertos in an accent? Oh, that's interesting. Because I've never said it except in the accent, because I was raised in Southern California with all the Hispanic influence. Ever since I was, just a little gringuito. Ever since then.
Love that movie. Anyway, while it's great to see old Granny
because I love the movie Coco. Oh God.
Again, her opening the door to the land of the dead often let some of the more seedy characters through as well. The Aeshi, or spirits and fairies, would pop through and run amok on the farm. So if you want your cattle and livestock to make it through winter alive, you need to placate those mischievous little spirits.
You do need to be placating the mischievous spirits. It's true.
Luckily, they also seemed to like cakes.
Let's go.
So all was well in the British Isles, until the 6th through 8th century when a new religion came knock knock knocking on old Albion's door.
Knock knock knocking on old Albion's door. Hey, 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 hey. Knock knock, it's me,
knock knock, it's me, Christianity. Love what you've done with the place. The holiday. Wow, perfection. Wouldn't change a thing.
Wouldn't change a thing, except maybe just the name. Let's start there.
Except maybe the name. Let's start there. And just like that, Samhain turned into All Hallows Eve, or Halloween, on October 31st, All Saints' Day, or All Souls' Eve, on November 1st, and then All Souls' Day on November 2nd. They also
knock knock knocking on All Souls' Eve.
Got rid of the bonfires because, those are dangerous. Those
bonfires are dangerous, guys. I don't want to see any of you participating in any bonfires.
Will be coming back in a few centuries around Guy Fawkes Day, Bonfire Night, but they did want to keep those lovely little cakes that the Celts were making, as well as the whole, dead loved ones kind of thing. They really liked that. But instead of having them come back from the dead, they decided, they can stay where they are in purgatory, and
they can stay where they are in purgatory, and we'll just pray for them instead. I don't know what they're doing in the afterlife. Maybe they have it a little bit more worked out than I thought. You guys stay in purgatory, and we'll just do like a Skype. We'll just do like a Skype or something, if that's okay, if that works for you guys. Because I know the commute from purgatory, and everyone is trying to get out of purgatory on the same night, and come back, and and then I'll leave a day late, I'll go a day earlier, from purgatory. It just doesn't work out, It's too many offerings. It takes a lot of soul cakes, okay, to transfer between the realms, okay? You can't. There's not enough soul cakes, is what I'm trying to get at. The logistics of an endeavor. So yeah, you guys stay in purgatory this year, and we'll just pray for you instead, and
just pray for them instead. And so a new tradition was born called souling, and that was where people would go from house to house, usually the poor, offering their prayers for the immortal soul of Granny, and all that they asked in return was a little cake. And as it was considered an alm for the poor, the tradition of putting a cross on it developed sometime in the Middle Ages. Now, while sanctioned by the church at large, the actual practices of the night varied wildly from place to place around the British Isles. In Wales,
the actual practices of the night. That sounds so spooky.
The giving of cakes was less to encourage prayers and more to actually placate death itself. When knocking on doors, the visitor would say, "Decca, Decca, come to the door and give to the messenger of death." And if no cake was given, then Decca, Decca, under the door, the wife's head in smithereens.
Oh my God. I mean, really? That's like crazy. Just like that.
Kind of dark, though I'm sure it also rhymed in the original Welsh. But
true. Okay. Yeah, because you Welsh. things rhyming in Welsh. It's like, is it even possible to rhyme in Welsh? Hey, do you guys want to listen to Welsh rap really quick? Really quick, let's listen to some Welsh rap.
The more innocuous trick or treat that kids say today. In parts of England, people would go around with lit candles or lanterns as they walked around to ward off witches. And in some places, it was common for the knockers to actually be mummers, who were actors in a sort of costume. Some would dress as the evil spirits that they were trying to ward off, and others would simply dress as their favorite saint. And who are you supposed to be? I'm St. Chelfrith of Monkwearmouth, contributor to the Codex Amiatinus Bible. Oh, well, isn't that nice? Have a baby Ruth. Speaking of baby Ruths, as Candy took pride...
Have a baby Ruth? This guy loves doing bits. I mean, like, this video has so many bits in it and pagan history, and he's like, gosh, you know, if there's one that I wish took off, it was the one that explained pagan history and where I did a lot of bits. He just wants to be loved. And people, like, love what he talks about, but they're like, okay, Max.
Of place during the 20th century, soul cakes all but disappeared from the festivities, leaving way for hard Tootsie Rolls and candy corn. But
you know, do you guys see what I'm saying? You know, he needs a yapper friend. That's what I'm saying.
They are still served mostly at churches in some parts of Britain and America on that third day of the festival, All Souls Day. So while I don't expect these to outperform a Kit Kat or a Snickers, I do think that by the smell that I'm smelling right now, they might do a little bit better than, say, some Smarties or those little wax cola bottles that nobody ever eats.
Yeah, true. Wax cola bottles, though, oh my god, the way they look is like, it's so cute.
So after 20 minutes in the oven, take the cakes out and set them on a wire rack to cool. And here they are, 17th century soul cakes.
They are super
cute. So cute. They
just
look so nice. And they smell so good. You can really smell the saffron. So if you're not using saffron, you should use saffron. But those other spices will probably really take pride of place. But for me, what I'm smelling is saffron, and I love that. Though I can also smell the other spices in there. Anyway, let's give this a shot.
That's funny. Like, that became the tradition, is like, because that's a relatively expensive spice. Because it's very rare. So it's like we make, you know, it's, okay, there's a holiday to use saffron that, like, drives the economy of saffron. Like, that's crazy. That's not crazy, but, like, ain't that some shit, you know?
They're good. They're good. They're not a cake at all. I mean, I think the modern day soul cakes are a little bit more cake-like. This is not a cake. It's definitely closer to a bread, but not as soft or springy. It's a little bit more dense. But they're nice. I think that one will do just fine. But I really like the flavor. The flavor is what gets me. It's mild, but it's sweet and saffrony, and you can taste the other spices, but nothing really overpowers anything. So I do think that it would go well with, you know, something to drink, because they are a little drier than I might like. But they're fun. And don't hand these out to people at trick-or-treating, because the kids will be very mad, but maybe if you made them for your own household, that would be fine. But regardless, have a happy Halloween and a merry All Souls Day, and I will see you next time on Tasting History. I'm a soul cake. I'm a soul cake.
That's funny. Do you guys know what he's referencing there? He's referencing Blues Brothers. You believe that? And I know it. Of course I know it. Oh, okay. Anyways, when did we do this stream? We had technical difficulties to start. I figured out how to get around them without ending stream. The internet decided we needed to end stream anyways, but erratically. So there's been some interruptions. It's been a little bit chaotic tonight, that's for certain. I mean, that was a nice video. I'm thinking I'm gonna end soon. I'm trying to think of the timeline of events here. It's been a couple hours, and that's really all I was thinking of doing. For tonight, you know, I think there's been enough yap. We started with the tarot reading. We got a little vibe for that. It looks like there is a culmination, okay, of that success, and it is about staying in your balance. You know, you've had the low swings, you know, the high swings of the lower stimulation and the higher stimulation, the chaos and the order, you know, the depression or anxiety, you know, and so we're finding that middle ground is what we're doing. We're finding balance, and we're finding stability in that balance. Yeah, let's go to the ending screen. Okay. So like the screen says, here, feel free to join the Discord for notifications. I'll put the Discord in the chat here. Have I spelled it wrong? Or is StreamerBot being funky? Do I not have the Discord in my StreamerBot? I thought I did. Now this is laptop StreamerBot, so that's also part of it. Oh, it's not activated, is it? No, it is. Well, let me use it then. Oh, it's only partially connected because the connection dropped. Hold on. Yeah, the chat client is not connected. I'm closing StreamerBot. We're gonna reopen it so we can get the link. Anyways. Dazzle, thank you again for following. Feel free to join the Discord for Epic Gamer notifications and everything, so you guys can stay appraised, up to date of when I go live. Okay, StreamerBot is not connected at all. It's partially connected. It's fully connected. So the link is in chat right now. If anyone wants to join the Discord, feel free. You are welcome to. The radio streams are every 4 days. I make announcements in there. We have a tunes channel where I share if I make a playlist for a specific night. I share the playlist there. Let's see what else. The tarot reading was fun. It's really nice doing these. I really enjoyed just chatting. My laptop has like driver issues. I'm gonna update the graphics driver and hope that does stuff for my laptop, because the GPU is struggling. It's struggle busing for sure. Let me see what's going on. I don't have an idea of when we're gonna do the 100 streams or 100 follower special. That is still, I still very much have a pin in that. And maybe I'll like lump it in with something, honestly. I think everyone knows I'm very thankful for the audience and everything, and I try to be vocal about that as we go along. So hopefully there doesn't need to be, you know, a huge celebration, but it's nothing like huge I was planning anyways. What I was thinking is we could play like some blackjack on stream or something, maybe play to win VIP. Now nobody seemed particularly like they cared to get VIP, so I wasn't gonna offer it, frankly. But if anyone decides they care, or you know, if that ends up being spontaneous, or maybe I'll be like, you have to bet 50,000 points of some sort or whatever. I have to create a currency that you can gamble in that you're not gambling in because it's not money and legal things. So that's tough. You know, and use the right tags and everything like that. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in. Who got firsties today? We had Baked had firsties. Guys, I'm burping like a motherfucker, and it's pissing me off. It's like, what? How is all that in my stomach? And why? We had firsties from Baked. Suvi, Tim, Baked, you ground your PBs today. Very well done. You all got faster. I appreciate it. And who'd we have in? We had Gavin, we had Tim. I thanked Dazzle. We had Gavin, we had Tim. We had a fair bit of people. We had Gavin, we had Tim, we had Baked. We had Laura. Laura was in earlier. And I was thinking we were going to raid Laura, because I'm going to end up just chatting with her for a little bit after the stream. And I'll be over there because I'm mod over there now. So yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Until the next time I see you, you have a great day, week, month, year, season, whatever time period you'd like. Choose it. And make it the best you can for yourself and for other people. Yeah, that all being said, it's all been said, you know. Where's my mod view here? Let's get this queued up. And once it queues up, we'll have the message that you want to copy and paste in the chat. Once I start the raid here. Has it triggered? Has it not triggered? Oh my goodness, it didn't trigger. Oh God. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I have some stuff to fix on the laptop. Until the next time I see you all, okay? Copy the message, join the raid, join us, join us.